I'm at the Kosher Butcher. I don't want to give the name away, because if I give the name of the butcher away and you already know my last name, if Hamas is listening, then my location and identity is obviously a dead fucking giveaway. Holla! Thank you very much. So I'm at the Kosher Butcher, and I said, a jar of duck sauce. I never have to go out to a Chinese restaurant again, just so I could feel less welcome than a resurgent herpes sore on the spot. And the Latino Koshertarian Butcher laughed, long time. Can I get a holla for raising the roof already for some more primo holla? Offended yet? Then go woke yourselves. Holla. Thank you very much. Our State of the Union is like Stephen Colbert's handle on Funny these days. Shaky. It's too bad Bill O'Reilly is no longer important enough to impersonate. At least Bill O'Reilly gave Colbert gravitas. Only 1 million out of 350 million Americans even watch Colbert on a nightly basis. So if I offended 500,000 people with that joke while making fun of two activist mouthpiece idols on both sides of the American evangelist divide, then you can go woke yourselves too. Holla! Thank you very much! I created the material, and united we laugh. My long-awaited comedic masterpiece contribution to mankind, especially for JFK, to be recorded and released tomorrow before my wife comes home with my 3 kids, so I can be as loud, as unapologetic, and as edgy as I want to be. That united we laugh. Just so we're clear, I created the material, all that A+ gemry, and united we laugh for you and the millions and millions who think The Rock is guilty of cultural appropriation for exploiting the Rocky franchise name for all it's worth. Has the Rocky statue been taken down yet because it promotes white supremacy? And also, I love DMX, yet you could make an argument, if you're a well-formed historian tuning into the Doodle Dead Year podcast, you can make a very fair argument that DMX should have been accused of cultural appropriation for blatantly thugging up Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders brand for all it was worth. Holla! DMX lives. Thank you very much! Jokes like this is what has made me a shadow banned comedian. What's a shadow banned comedian? A comedian social media can't stand because they dare to take a stand against bullshit narratives, like thug lives matter most, that sort of thing. Or making fun of Snoop Dogg's new Cabernet wine. According to Wine Spectator, it tastes like mouthwash used in Pornhood hell. Then, when you start getting on the hot streak again and everyone embraces your material, you get banned from Twitter for claiming the Chinese have resisted Wuhan lab leak investigations more than Aquafresh, or you cancel your Facebook account altogether because you're not that close to Pops in the first place, in addition to you being sick to your stomach about how Goodwill Hoodie, aka Zitface Zuck, is responsible for shutting down entire websites, blogs, and YouTube channels for all of the first-in-line / frontline scientists and doctors who are brave enough in this woke, controlled universe gone wild to actually promote the continued use of hydrochloroxine, who don't ascribe to the absolute dictum, and fuckface Fauci, we trust no matter what. Holla! Thank you very much! Or you cancel your Facebook account because you are no longer enthralled with the underwhelming responses that you get from your mother in relation to pictures of your kids hugging flags on Main Street. Holla! Thank you very much! Or you cancel your Facebook account because you're no longer thrilled with the idea of your retired parents spying on your life from afar, watching more unibrow Maddow, knowing that Facebook has turned baby boomers into the laziest, most hands-off grandparent generation of all time. Lifting a finger is liking a pic of their grandkids, assuming they're not hugging flags on Main Street or at a air show in an F-16. Or their daddies not in the actual picture, that being their shameful, according to them, stay-at-home comedian son, who in this pic specifically is wiping up with the Sunday New York Times after Taco Tuesday. Holla! Thank you very much! More specifically, a shadow banned comedian today might as well be a Chinese comedian, because his freedom of speech isn't protected by Zitfei Zuck or from Twitter twat CEO Jack Dorsey or from Klingon cheesy incarnate Jeff Bezos, who acts all sophisticated, but he's guilty of sending dick pics too. And I thought Alexa farting on demand for my kids was the death of small talk. Actually, I hear Jeff Bezos packs a formidable bulge. At the same time, his new lover used to be married to ultra yoked out Hall of Fame tight end receiver Tony Gonzalez. So happy denting, Ajax man. And there's no way Jeff Bezos tastes good, Ben Shapiro included. Amazon banned certain books for so-called hate speech violations. Yet there's no problem selling Mein Kampf. Who narrates the audio version of Mein Kampf? Edward Norton. His participation can remain anonymous. The New York Times only unmasked ICE agents' home addresses to Antifa because Homeland Security was so weapons of mass destruction years. Jon Stewart lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Write a book critical of critical race theory and you're banned from making a living selling books on Amazon forever. Write a spirit cooking book for gender fluid pedophiles and the editorial gatekeeper at Amazon will lick it up! Lick it up! Oh! Kiss lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Amazon says their online bookstore has no room for hate, but Mein Kampf is 720 pages of hate speech in a row, in spastic spitting, German, on crystal meth, no less, which sounds twice as mass murderish compared to Dr. Fauci, aka Dr. Noki, complaining about the right-wing media attacks on him for lying to Congress about financing gain-of-function research in Wuhan, which only increases the transmissibility of the virus. No big deal, man. The politicization of the virus made in Wuhan, that killed off our kids' age of innocence faster than Sam Kinison giving Drew Barrymore his coke dealer's number at the Comedy Store on a slow Tuesday is. And that's why fuckface Fauci and all the evil perpetrators that could have prevented the death of millions who didn't have to die alone. And my daughter and son had to admit about having dark suicidal thoughts during the major shit show portion of complete lockdown insanity makes this material in United We Laugh beyond personal. Holla! Thank you very much! Some real deep smart guy once said, laughter is the sound of comprehension. Because for the joke to get a laugh, you typically agree with the funny point or humorous phrase outcome in it. I'm putting United We Laugh out there to the world to prove that we could still find more common ground to agree on, the more laughs we make, regardless of how controversial certain topics appear to be, that have ruined dinner parties for all parties for the foreseeable future. United We Laugh is my olive branch to help our country recover, and the world at large, from our endlessly divisive, grandstanding ways by focusing on real evil targets like Hamas, who doesn't do nuance. Again, the word controversy means to cause a disagreement. My intention is to prove how we can unite through laughter, through jokes about aspects of controversial topics most can agree upon. For those frowny faces who oppose, let the triggered twat tweets of rage begin. USA! USA! Holla! Thank you very much! Gun control. Let's talk about it. They don't have school shootings in Israel because the teachers are all ex-military who know how to handle firearms responsibly, like real-life Hebrew hammers. Also, guns don't kill people if the FBI actually had a school shooting quota to fulfill, as if their pensions, book deals, or shooting the shit time with Jack Tapper and CNN were riding on it. The FBI should be banned from Starbucks if they don't follow up in the next school shooter lead. Coffee is for closers, not for fake news, do-good posers, and FBI windbreakers. David Mamet lives, Super Jew incarnate. Can I get a holla for some A+ Primo? Holla! Thank you very much! Global warming. I don't sweat global warming because Al Gore's documentary career has cooled considerably. Abortion. Planned Parenthood is an oxymoron, don't you think? Nobody plans to cut off their connection to God or shrug off maternal waves as they grip the innermost sanctum of your soul. If Karen's romantic prospects and job options don't feel pregnant with life-improving topping possibility after graduating from Kenyon College with a degree in frumpy feminism either. Holla! Thank you very much! White supremacy. I don't see Ernie on TNT claiming he's got bigger ups than Barkley after housing a tomahawk chop for two. Charter schools. The kids will be taught to hate Israel's right to defend itself in college eventually anyway. So, like Hillary Hammer Time Kankel says, what difference does it make? I also love school uniforms that charter schools require because you feel like you're getting dressed up for a more important job to do than getting stoned first thing in the morning to even shittier rap music to boot because it's Friday, you got no job, and I ain't got shit else to do. Holla! Thank you very much! Plus, it's hard to feel like a slacker stoner in khakis devoid of any dreamy ambition in life either. Universal healthcare. If it guarantees my kids won't have to wait in line behind 500,000 dreamers and counting in the ER room next time around, then it's all bueno, Holmes. Holla! Thank you very much! Cancel culture. The Times of Israel fired me from a non-paying blogger job. Very prestigious, I know, because I dared to call Governor Cuomo the Thug in Armani, the Italian reptilian inside, who looks like the Thing and Mama Fratelli from the Goonies had a baby. Oh yeah, I also got banned from Twitter because I accused the Chinese of resisting Wuhan lab virus leaks more than Aquafresh. Holla! Thank you very much! Transgender rights. I'm only against the ridiculous concept of Twitter inventing such a concept, such as Trans Father's Day. Either you're an involved father or you're not, nipple tits. Stop acting like getting shafted is such a shock to your system anymore either. Religious freedom. Pray away. All I ask is for Mayor de Blasio, for his last 2 days in office, to upgrade the PA system in Queens to make the Muslim call to prayer over the 6,000 loudspeakers throughout a 2-block radius in Queens sound less choppy for a change. Holla! Thank you very much! So it can provide a more soothing sound, minus the nasal, uppity, dripping condescension heard from NPR all the time. Holla! Thank you very much! Vaccines. Vaccines are fine. Yet I'm still not clamoring to get a vaccine for COVID to prevent me from catching an itchy esophagus because I've been smoking weed out of a metal bat for 2 decades straight and my lungs feel great. Dice lives. Holla. Thank you very much. evolution. I'm all for evolution of the human race. Just resist the urge to call me anti-science because I refuse to suck off Bill Maher's takes on everything under the sun till my last dying breath. Holla! Thank you very much! Capital punishment. Sometimes capital punishment isn't enough, and we have to employ covert military hit jobs, like when we took out the second head of ISIS. Remember when the Washington Post gushed about him the next day, calling him a religious scholar? Yeah, and Joy Behar is the new chief happiness officer for Breitbart. Can I get a holla? More primo holla edge disseminating through the air. Holla! Thank you very much! Marriage equality. There needs to be equal respect for a relationship to flourish. For example, when my wife comes home in the morning, after working at the NICU all night, she'll say, "Can I go to bed now?" I'll say, "Do we live under Sharia law in our house? Of course you can go to sleep now, but not until I titty fuck you with this bomb strapped to your chest first." Immigration reform. One kid only means your diaphragm is for walls after all. The opiate crisis. Chinese-made fentanyl. Let me backtrack. Fuck China. Chinese-made fentanyl has killed more crackers in our country than Taylor Swift kicking it with Lena Dunham on Instagram. Can I get a holla? For more jokes, millennial Mouseketeers understand for a change. Holla! Thank you very much! The Israeli-Palestinian conflict crisis. It takes two to tango. Plus, if you shoot 4,000 rockets into Israel's backyard, don't expect an edible gift basket in return with a thank you note written in Farsi. Hebrew Hammer lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Student debt crisis. It's not my fault. You were dumb enough to spend someone else's money, that's not your parents, on your degree in gender studies. How many new PA jobs on RuPaul's Drag Race did you think would emerge on your behalf? Conservatism. All network conservative mouthpieces, minus Lou Dobbs from a year ago, are self-serving douchebags who do nothing to help up-and-comers magnify their vastly more interesting voices. LeBron wants to become president just so he can tell Laura Ingraham to stick to being a less ghoulish looking Ann Coulter. Holla! Thank you very much! On family. Kids are family upgrades. Children are family upgrades. Sounds a little bit better. More importantly, your kids know when mama is being overtly shitty to daddy or not, to prove he's not a paranoid, anger-ridden Jew after all, at least not the majority of the time, especially when dealing with mama. Holla! Thank you very much! Feminism. Feminists need better role models. Mom asked me, that being my mother, who calls herself Mimi. Mimi! You see me twice a year, grandchildren. Mimi, remember me? Guy, don't strike me down lightning. I'm just busting balls. Trying to get mileage, trying to mix it up. Not sound too formulaic. Holla! Thank you very much! But yeah, so mom asked me. Mimi mom asked me. Did you have my granddaughter watch the Women's March on Washington? I said, no offense, Mom, but Hillary Hammer Time Kankles, a.k.a. Huma Liquor Breath, isn't my daughter's role model. And with my daughter finally learning how to read, I don't need my daughter to try to make up one of those protest signs on TV and say, Daddy, what's pussy power? Is that a new show on Amazon Prime? Holla! Thank you very much! Also, Mom, I didn't watch the Women's March on Washington, but like I saw like screenshots of it, and from my vantage point, it looked like a whole lot of rosies sporting a whole lot of chins. AC/DC lives. Brian Johnson, what an amazing job you did to fulfill the best frontman shoes of all time. Bon Scott, holla! Thank you very much. Media. These days, the media. Trust the media. Less than the integrity left in the Supreme Court. Since the day democracy died, I don't care how many kids Amy Barrett adopted. She's Mia Farrow with better husband selection. Holla. Thank you very much. Excuses. Trump had 4 years to prepare for massive voter fraud and blew it. Reese Witherspoon in the movie Election wouldn't have allowed this shit to happen under her all-knowing watch. At least you know Reese reads books to inform her on subjects she knows dick about and does more than pose on the cover of her whiskey in a teacup cookbook while covering her chin with a teacup filled with whiskey on purpose. Holla! Thank you very much. Faith. George Michael lives. Believing Joe Biden cares about unity is like believing LeBron James cares about being held accountable for traveling, or that Hunter Biden wanted to give a blow for blow painting. Holla! Thank you very much. Culture. If Jordan Peterson says your friends suck for not celebrating your wins, then he's right again. And if you listen to Jordan, like Roger Daltrey sang back in the day, you won't get fooled again. Holla! Thank you very much. Marijuana. Legalization, man. I know New York City wants nothing to do with celebrating white privilege these days. I get it. But the Big Apple isn't Detroit yet either. So can the city maintain the allure of Manhattan remaining a high-end tourist destination that doesn't reek of shit weed everywhere you go? Have the new mayor, whoever it is, sign an exclusive distribution agreement with Mike Tyson's Knockout Weed Ranch in Northern California. Something, anything, Mueller, Bueller. Jokes Gen X dads understands. John Hughes lives. Holla! Thank you very much. Universal income. Like Boston Great. Talking about the band. The band! We're bringing back the band! Blues Brothers lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Like Boston, singer-songwriter, guitar whiz, extraordinaire, pre-Steve Vai, Tom Schultz, most likely a member of the tribe. I hope he is. We'll look it up after this podcast special for the ages. Tom Schultz, lead singer, songwriter, guitar, genius of Boston, sings in Peace of Mind. People living in competition, all I want is to have my piece of pie. I cannot agree with that sentiment anymore. All I want is to have my piece of pie and a lit agent that can locate the ball sack for me sometime this century so they could put their inner Ari Gold to work, sell the film rights for my books, The Great American Jew Novel, and Ways to Height, really short stories. When they're not scoring me a comedy record holding deal from Atlantic Records, after they hear my United We Laugh comedy record demo to kick off the 4th of July party in the Cape, draped in vineyard vines, dressed for new success, assuming their balls are Mike Love Beach Balls Big, for thinking Brian Wilson was the non-essential worker of the two. Holla! Pet Sounds lives. Thank you very much. I love my land of Land O'Lakes, which gave birth to the likes of Brian Wilson, Anthony Bourdain, Miles Davis, and the Allman Brothers. Bill Graham's favorite band from the Fillmore East. For all of you hardcore rock historians at home. All of these American-made success stories that stretch from the Sunshine State to the New York Island with soul shine, sparkly light, made you proud to be an American in a place where you no longer feel so free. Unless you're a feckless Canadian cunt like Samantha Bee. Dr. Seuss lives. Can I get a holla for some holla? Thank you very much, and happy 4th of July for patriots that still give a shit about Old Glory shining again.